Tommy, I want to take us back to 1991. You joined UNLV at an exceptional time for that school's history. They had just won a national championship, and if memory serves, they're a couple of years away from having their men's basketball program go on probation for a couple of years. And oh, by the way, you got to work with one of the most charismatic coaches in the history of college basketball, Jerry Tarkanian. Can you share a few stories of highlights of your tenure with UNLV?
What I took away from UNLV with all the fantastic relationships, and I have to start everything by saying that's where I met my wife. She swam at UNLV, so that was the biggest takeaway by far. But in terms of my career, I fell into crisis management from day one. When I started at UNLV, literally in the North Gym, I walked down my first day to go meet Jerry Tarkanian, and there's this coach throwing basketballs at the vents above the roof in the basketball gym, just chucking balls up in there. I look over, I said, "Who's that guy? Why is he so angry? Why is he throwing basketballs up there?" And they said, "Well, the school put some cameras up there to film. That's Coach Tim Gergerich, and they were filming. He teaches a class here, and they think that they're going to get an advantage. We were breaking NCAA rules, and they're trying to get Coach fired." And that's when I realized, like, this is a little different now, because you would think the Rebels just won in 90, just missed. I think they were the greatest team never to win a championship in 91. That team was just so fantastic, and they just didn't get it done in the semis against Duke. It doesn't change. That was a great team. So now I'm in there for Coach Tark, and I'm seeing this, and I go to a staff meeting, and there's lawyers in the room. Everybody brought their own lawyer. And I said, this is not a cohesive family. This isn't the unit. This isn't what you get. So Jerry Tarkanian is oblivious to all of it. He just coaches basketball. He loves his family. He had great kids. He had a great life, but he really loved one-liners where he wasn't trying to say them. He's just a funny guy. He would say something that just would stick with you and stick with me for the rest of my life. But I would tell you, the most important person besides my wife, but he and Coach Tarkanian, huge influence for me. But his assistant coach, Tim Gergerich, who I mentioned earlier, that's the guy who really helped me understand the NBA. We worked at NBA camp together he put together camp for 28 years. And I helped him do whatever he asked me to do, and start out driving guys from back and forth from the hotel to the gym. And by the end, it was like a camp director type of thing. We put the schedule together, and all the NBA teams would bring 2-3 players and 2-3 coaches, and we'd scrimmage, do drills in the morning, scrimmage at night, that kind of stuff. So Coach Tark was great, but I learned from him, have great assistants. And that was one of the best assistants ever in college, but certainly in the NBA. He's the godfather of player development. But Coach Tarkanian, this is a true story now. We were on a flight one time, and it lost altitude quickly. Like people holding hands, singing spirituals and praying every prayer they ever knew. Like we're coming into LA, and there's fire trucks on the runway kind of stuff. And Tark he read USA Today the whole time. He never even looked up. He's just kind of oblivious to stuff. He gets locked in, and that was also very impressive. I could have done it like that.
Yeah, I think it was in high school at that time. That I agree with you. That was one of the most talented rosters I've ever seen compiled. I mean, hell, that was a good NBA roster.
Yeah.
They had at least 4 or 5 guys get drafted out of that group. Some of whom went on to become exceptionally talented. One even went on to become grandmama, if memory serves. But that was a exceptionally talented team.